What's going on, guys? It's your boy CMB. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and let's get into this one really quickly. Now, guys, we are talking about Mr. TBE, Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. Now, he did another exclusive interview with FightHype.com. He said he wanted to update the boxing world on what's going on, particularly with his fighter, Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, you guys know last weekend, Ryan Garcia was in a step-up fight against Javier Fortuna. You guys know there were a lot of questions that needed to be answered in the fight. The stuff with Ryan dealing with anxiety issues, whether or not his heart was still in the sport of boxing, or whether or not Ryan was capable of defeating a guy who was a former champion. I think a lot of those questions were answered. Even though Ryan, he looked pretty good in the fight, even though he still has holes in his game. He's still a young fighter. He's still learning. I think he has some defense issues, some footwork issues. But all in all, I thought he did a spectacular job in the fight. Now, the thing that had everybody in an uproar was the fact that Ryan said that he's no longer fighting at 135. He's going to fight at 140 from now on. Now, that's where the problem lies with Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, he says in the interview, he says that the man in boxing right now is the guy that's attached to him, Gervonta Tank Davis. And I have to agree, Gervonta Tank Davis is the guy that's putting butts in the seats at the pay-per-views. He's the guy that's getting the knockouts. Even though he's only the WBA regular champion, he's just entertaining it, and that's what people want to see. People want to see knockouts. But he says that Ryan, that's the only thing he knows is Tank. He's always talking about Tank. And he says that if Ryan wants that fight, he's going to have to make certain sacrifices. He says that the fight is going to have to be at 135 pounds. Tank mentioned that was, the weight that he was comfortable in, fighting at 135. So he says that Ryan's still a young guy. He should still be able to make that weight. And I absolutely agree. I see Tank as the A side in this. He talked about how Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. had to make sacrifices when he went up against Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya was the A side, and he said he got to pick the judges. He got to pick the weight that they fought at. He got to pick the gloves. And that was just something that, he had to make sacrifices. He felt like he was the better fighter, so he had no problem making those sacrifices. So he says that if Ryan feels like he's the better fighter, then Ryan should, make the same sacrifices when it comes to fighting Tank Davis. Fight at 135, not at 140, where Tank is most comfortable at. He says that fight can be actually made in 90 days. And that's music to a lot of people's ears. He did, reiterate telling Oscar that it has to be at 135, and he has to do an interview with FightHype.com, and then they can sit down and negotiate the fight. And he also mentioned, like I said earlier, that Tank is the A side because Ryan hasn't even had a belt yet. And that's facts. Tank's a 3-division champion. He was a super champion at 130, WBA super champion at 130. Of course, the WBA regular champion at 135, and the WBA regular champion at 140 after defeating Mario Barrios. So Floyd kind of put it down there. He's playing chess, not checkers, when it comes to this. And there's no doubt that Tank should be the A side going into the fight. Like, Ryan hasn't even had a title yet. He's only fought one champion in Javier Fortuna, a former champion. So like he said, he's just going to have to make sacrifices to make this fight happen. But you guys tell me what you think about what Floyd said. Do you think the fight should be at 135? Do you think the fight will even happen? Floyd said it can happen in 90 days. We'll just have to wait and see. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. and I'm out. Peace.